Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
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 सियावर रामचंद्र की
जय.
श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की
जय.
ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः. ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः. ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. ओम श्री जानकी वल्लभो विजयते श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरं लोकशंकरं समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं. नमः श्री तुलसीदास सद्वरिष्ठाय धीमते पूरितं हृदयं येन रामप्रेमामृतेन मे. नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाणौ महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम्. अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं धनुजवनकृशानुं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि. We saw the most beautiful prasanga of Shabari. How she welcomed Bhagavan, how she served Bhagavan, and how she could not praise Bhagavan, saying that I am not even learned, I don't know anything. And therefore Bhagavan only takes over and says that I don't care about anybody's wisdom or knowledge or not even about their jati, pati, vamsha. I don't care about all these things. Dhana, Shakti, Bala, I don't care. The only thing that I understand is the relationship of Bhakti, devotion. And then he explained Navadha Bhakti, the 9 steps or 9 ways of devotion. Very beautiful explanation is there. Shravana, Ramana, Adhyayana, Kirtana, Bhajana, Acharana, Smattu Buddhi, Yathalabha Santosha, and Atma Nivedana. These are the 9 ways that he has given. Now, not only that he gave this, he said that if a person has any one of it, one of 9, even such a person is very dear to me. And what to say about you, Shabari? You have all 9. And therefore, you have got something that even Munis, yogis do not get. And that is, you have got my darshana. Saying this, Bhagavan comes back to his human demeanor and says, now, can you please tell me if you know anything about my wife? Janaka Suta kaha sudhi bhamini, janahi kahu karibaragamini. So said that now, if you know anything about Sita Ji, please tell. Shabari said, I don't know anything about Sita Ji, but I will tell you. Pampa sarahi jahu ragurai. Please go to Pampa Sarovara. Taha ho ihi Sugriva mitai. And there you will meet Sugriva. You will have friendship with him. So sab kahi Deva Raghubira, Janatahu Puchau Matidira. Says that actually you are Bhagavan. You know everything. Still you are asking me as though you don't know anything. This is your Leela only. So you know. So please go to Pampa Sarovara and meet. Now because of this Pampa Sarovara etc. this concept, many people feel that this whole story happened in Kerala. Okay. Because there is a particular mountain which is very famous called as Shabari Malay. Okay. Where Ayyappa Swami's very famous temple is there, where he stayed as a brahmachari and did lot of tapas. And at the base of that Shabari Malay, there is a river which is called as Pampa. So therefore many people think that this whole story happened here. According to geography and history, it doesn't fit, okay? Why will Bhagavan come to Kerala? He is going from there to Lanka, isn't it? He is going via Karnataka, Tamil Nadu route, the present day Karnataka, Tamil Nadu route, right? He was in Maharashtra, no, Nashik, Panchavati. From there, he started coming to southern side, right? So if you, from Nashik, if you come to southern side, you won't come to Kerala. So the well-known geographical place which is considered where this whole thing happened, where Kishkinda is what we call today as Hampi. Vijayanagar Samrajya and the capital was Hampi. So Hampi, there is a river, and on one side is the Vijayanagar Samrajya, on other side is the Kishkinda. You can see also. There is also one mountain where they say that Hanumanji was born there. Anjana Parvata is also there. So it fits also, because then you can understand that they must have come via that route and then came to Tamil Nadu. So just had to tell. Now what she said, go to Pampa Sarovara and the Rishamukha Parvata is there. Okay, this is not yet Kishkinda, okay. This is just in the same, kingdom of Kishkinda, but not in the capital yet. So you go to this Pampa Sarovar, and saying this, she bowed down again and again. Bara bara Prabhu padasirunai, prema sahita sab katha sunai. Kahi katha sakala bilo ki hari mukha hridaya pankaja dhare. Taji joga pavaka deha hari pada leena bhai jaha nahi fire. It is said, Tulsidas Ji says, Kahi katha sakala bilo ki, and telling all this beautiful story, telling this that you go here, etc. Bilo ki hari mukha, and seeing Bhagavan's face. Hridaya pada pankaj dhare. In her heart, she held Bhagavan's both feet. Means she kept those feet in her heart, which means she closed her eyes. Okay. And taji joga pavaka deha. And like yoga, like yogini, she created yogagni, and in that she burnt her body. Haripada leena bhai jahan nahi phire. And she became merged in Bhagavan's feet, from where there is no return. Nahi phire. There is no return, the path of no return. You will study in Bhagavad Gita also. So it is said that she got Sayujya Mukti. Earlier we saw that Jatayuji had got Sarupya Mukti. He got same form as Bhagavan. Here it is Sayujya Mukti. She became one with Bhagavan. Highest form of Mukti according to the Bhakti Shastra. That is what she got. Now after this beautiful, very devotional episode, now Tulsidas Ji is commenting on it and says, Nara, O human being, Vividha karma adharma bahumata soka pradasava tyagahu. Please give up all these kind of unrighteous actions and bahumata, different kinds of views. Shoka prada, because they are all giving sorrow. Give up. Vishwasa kari. Have faith. Kaha dasa tulasi, saying Tulsidas is telling Ramapada anuragahu. Have love for the feet of Bhagavan. This is Tulsidas Ji is telling to all of us. And then he tells to his own mind, Jati hi naga janma mahi muktakini asinari mahamanda mana sukachahasi. I say Prabhu he bisari. Says mahamanda mana. Oh, extremely dull-witted mind. He says, what? That Bhagavan who gave mukti to such a low woman, so-called low woman, who was born in no good family or had no proper education or no proper knowledge, even to such a woman he gave mukti. And forgetting that God, you are expecting joy from the world, idiot mind. That's what he says. Mahamanda mana. Which means what? If Bhagavan gave mukti to Shabari, why not to us? Why will he not give it to us? This is not to say that Shabari was very low or anything. The point is, if she gets, why not us? Bhagavan will give mukti. You just have faith and keep devoting yourself to God. Everything else will happen. That is what he says. Then they go forward. Now Sri Rama and Lakshmana, both of them are going forward, and a very interesting portion this is. Why? Because, see, there is a very famous saying in Sanskrit, Yatha drishtihi tatha srishtihi. As your vision, so the world will appear to you. Now the forest, which is very beautiful, is appearing very different to Sri Ramachandra. Why? Because he is not enjoying. Viraha is there from his wife, and therefore from his angle you see now how the entire forest is appearing to him. And while going towards that Pampa Sarovara, he is talking to Lakshmanji, and very amazing things he is telling. First thing he says is, you see, all these birds that you see around, they are all sitting with their partner, as though making fun of me who has no partner. Now you please tell me, why will birds do anything like this? That's not the point. His mind is like this. He is trying to show, when our mind is focused on something, how the entire world will start appearing like that. That's what he is trying to show. Then he says, looking at bow and arrow in my hand, that male bird, the couple, many, couples are sitting, no? So the male bird is flying away, looking at bow and arrow in my hand. And the female bird is telling to that male bird, don't fly. He is not behind you. He is behind that Kanchana Mruga, reminding me that I made a mistake by going behind Kanchana Mruga. Now, think little bit about Lakshmanji also, what he must be thinking. Bhagavan, it's nothing like that, Bhagavan. Please don't think like this. Come, let us go forward. Something he must have said. Tulsidas Ji is not telling anything. But Sri Ramachandra is in that mood. Then when he understands, see, he says, 3 things, if anyone starts doing, that person should never give up these 3 things. What? Number 1, Shastra Adhyayana. If you start studying Shastra, you should never leave it. Which means what? There is no point of time when you can say that I have studied everything. No. Adhyayana never stops. Learning never stops. So once you start studying, you never give it up. Raja's Seva, serving the king. He says you should never stop. You can't say that, oh, for 1 full year I have served the king. Now king is on my side, favorable to me. No, you never know. So you have to keep serving. And third thing he says is Stri Suraksha or Patni Suraksha. Once you start, protecting your lady, you should never give it up. You can't say that now I have done, now for some time break. No break. He is reminding himself that, I missed that thing, and therefore I am separated from my wife. He says, oh Lakshmana, Vasanta Rutu has come. And it is supposed to give joy to everybody. But without my beloved, it is creating fear, not joy. That is what is happening. I think Sri Rama also understood that. I think it is becoming too much. So now, to distract his mind, he starts to say very nice philosophical, neati things. And he says, but you see, these all make sense. It should be taken as Upadesha only. He says, see, Kamadeva, once my wife was kidnapped, Kamadeva thought that now he can attack me because I am alone. And therefore, he decided to attack me with his army. But the moment he decided, one of his messengers told him that don't attack. Why? He is not alone. His brother is with him. And listening to this, Kamadeva decided not to attack. Now you see, there is a very, deep philosophy behind this. Kama means desire or lust. That lust attacks us when I am alone. When I am with somebody, because I want to portray myself to be a good person, I won't act on that Kama. And who is with Sri Ramachandra? Now Sri Ramachandra is with Lakshmanji is Vairagya. Therefore Kama is not attacking. Where Jnana is along with Vairagya, Kama has no power. And therefore Kamadeva says, okay, let us not attack. See, Biraha Bikala Bala Hina Mohi Jane Se Nipata Akela Sahita Bipina Madhukara Khaga Madana Kinha Bagamela. 37 Doha. This is what he says. Now another wonderful thing. Now he is talking about Kama and Vairagya, etc. He says, Lachimana dekhata Kama Anika Rahahi Dhira Tinhakai Jagalika. He says, Lachimana, oh Lakshmana, dekhata Kama Anika. Even after seeing the entire army of Kamadeva, Anika means army, Sanskrit word, there in Bhagavad Gita also, no? Pandavanikam. So seeing that Kamadeva's army also, one who remains controlled, is praised and glorified in the entire world. What do you mean by this? There is a Sanskrit Subhashita on the same concept. It says, Vikara hetau sati vikriyante yesham na chetamsi ta eva dhiraha. Vikara hetau sati. When there is a opportunity or chance of vikara, vikara means mind getting disturbed, mind getting into modifications, mind having desires. Even when the chance is there, yesham chetamsi na vikriyante, those people whose mind does not get into action, te eva dhiraha. They alone should be called as Dhira Purushaha. They alone should be called as Dhira. Dhyamrati. Dhyarati means what? One who is protected by using his intellect. One who is Dhira Purusha, controlled. One who has won over his mind, won over his desire. Who is that person? Vikara hetu. When there is a chance but he does not do. See, this is very important thing. Earlier also we had seen. I did not fall for any lust. Why? There was no chance. That cannot be called as Dhira Purusha. Even when you can, but you decide not to, that is when Dhirata is measured. And therefore Bhagavan says that those people are really worshipped or praised in the world whose mind remains quiet even when there is chance of breaking into desire. Such people are great. Then he says, there are three enemies which are very dangerous. Tat Tini Ati Prabala Khala. They are very dushta. Tini, three. Prabala, very strong. Who are they? Kama, Krodha, Arulobha. Kama, desire, Krodha, anger, Lobha, greed. Muni Bigyana Dhama Mana Karahi Nimisha Mahuchoba. Even the minds of the munis, they will disturb. These three are very dangerous. Do you remember something? What? Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha kamaha krodha tatha lobha tasmadetat trayam tyajet. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Gita, Arjuna, there are 3 doorways to hell. Kama, Krodha and Lobha. Very deadly. And therefore, etatrayam teje, give up these 3. Now that is what Bhagavan is telling this to Lakshmanji, that these 3 are very dangerous. Kama, Krodha and Lobha. And therefore, these are capable of disturbing minds of even munis. What to talk about sadhakas? Therefore, sadhakas should be careful. How? Understand the cause of these 3. This is the beauty of Ramayana. It not only makes a statement which everybody knows, but they also tell what causes Kama, Krodha, Lobha. So, you see in the next line itself, Bhagavan explains, Lobha ke ichha, dambha bala, Kama ke kevala nari, Krodha ke parusha bachana bala, munibara kahahi bichari. 38 Doha, he says that Lobha gets power because of 2 things. Lobha is greed. How is greed becoming powerful? How is greed coming? Says desire, ichha, and hypocrisy, dambha. These 2 things are fueling greed. Earlier also we saw that ichha, when it is fulfilled, I want to fulfill more, and that is how greed comes. Now, that ichha being fulfilled again and again, something that can save us is knowing that, oh, people are watching. What will people think? See, this what will people think is not always a bad thought. Many times it is shown, no, you should not worry about what people think. But sometimes having that thought keeps us in the boundary of dharma. Isn't it? Many times we don't do wrong things. Somebody is watching. That's why the best thing to do is put that camera there. Whether the camera is working or not, whether anybody is recording it or not, whether anybody is watching it or not, that doesn't matter. You must have seen nowadays so many robberies, etc. They start to take and then they see the camera and then they keep it and go. Whether the camera is working or not. But that thought that what if somebody catches me? What if somebody knows that I am like this? Now that will not be there for a person who has hypocrisy, dambha. Means what? He shows himself to be something else, but in his mind is somebody else. Then such a person will keep having that greed more and more, but outside will show that everything is fine. So therefore Bhagavan says that lobha is fueled by 2. Ichha and dambha. Kama is fueled by what? He says lust is fueled by woman. Now here we have to understand, because he is talking from the man's standpoint, therefore he says that woman. From woman's standpoint, it can be man. And the fact of matter is, lust is not coming because of man or woman. The thought in our mind is creating that. It is not because of somebody outside. It is our mind that is creating this. Then he says anger. Anger is fueled by what? Parusha vachana. Harsh words. Isn't it true? Most of the times we are angry because of something that was said, not something that happened. No, whatever happened. Why did you say like this? You called me fool. How dare you call me fool? So what actually happened before that, you have forgotten. Now the anger is because of what? Those harsh words. Now when I am angry, I will use more harsh words, which will fuel my anger and the other person's anger more and more and more. That is how it works. Therefore, Bhagavan says you have to save yourself from these 3 enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. How? Understand their origin points. From where are these things coming? Kama is arising from what? Krodha is arising from what? Lobha is arising from what? Understand that. Now, this whole scene can be taken in various ways. One thing is that Bhagavan has got so much of love for Sita Ji that the separation is creating sorrow. And therefore, he wants to bring his mind back to the poised state. And therefore, he suddenly starts to talk like this. Many times we distract ourselves. Many times we ourselves become teacher of ourselves and start teaching. So, Bhagavan is telling all these techniques to us. That is one way of looking at it. There is another way of looking at it also. Beginning of Aranyakanda, Shivji said that looking at Ishvara's Leela in this Kanda, those who are good-hearted people, they will get Jnana, Bhakti and Vairagya. And those who are impure-hearted people will get deluded. Remember? If you see Aranyakanda, there was a discourse on Jnana which is called as Sri Rama Gita. There was discourse on Bhakti which is Navada Bhakti, which was just now explained. Now this becomes the discourse on Vairagya. Because he is trying to explain how to win over Kama. So Jnana, Bhakti and Vairagya, not just automatically, direct Upadesha is there in Aranyakanda itself. Vedji, but who said so? You see, next line he says, Shivji comes into picture. Gunatita Sacharachara Swami, Rama Uma Sab Antarajami, Kamhina Kai Dinata Dikhai, Dhira Nake Mana Birati Dadhai, Krodha Manoja Lobha Madamaya, Chota Hi Sakala Ramaki Daya, Sonara Indrajala Nahi Bhula, Japar Hoi So Nata Anukula, Uma Kahau Me Anubhava Apana, Sata Hari Bhajanu Jagata Saba Sapana. Why Shivji is coming again then? If this is not to indicate that this has a connection with what Shivji said at the beginning, now Shivji comes back telling story to Uma Parvati and says, let me tell you, just because Sri Rama is talking like this, don't get confused again, don't get deluded again. Let me remind you, Sri Rama is the Lord of the entire universe. He is beyond all the three gunas. He is Antaryami, he is the indweller of all. And he is just showing his Leela here through his emotions and through his teachings. What is he showing? He is showing the helplessness of those minds which are troubled by lust. And he is also showing how to increase dispassion in those minds so that one becomes a Dhira Purusha, wise person. Shivji says, Kama, Krodha, Lobha leaves. They all leave a person when there is Bhagavan's grace. And therefore, when one remains devoted to Bhagavan, that person is free of Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Then he concludes. He says, Uma kahau me anubhava apana. He says, O Parvati, I will tell you my experience. What? Sata Hari Bhajanu, Jagata Saba Sapana. He says, Satya is only one thing, and that is God. Devotion, worship, service of that God. What about the world? The world is a dream. Jagata Saba Sapana. This is my experience. Shivji is telling. Right? And so the moment Shivji, Parvati, this samvad a little bit is there, then you understand why the previous scene had all those kind of things that Sri Ramachandra, still part of his Leela. He's still trying to teach. His entire life is for teaching. And that is what he still does. Never we should feel that he actually got confused. Okay? As I said, in Tulsi Ramayana, you may not get confused. Because, Tulsidas Ji shows Sri Rama as Bhagavan only, again and again and again. If Valmiki Ramayana you read, you really start to feel that, oh, what is happening? Has he forgotten? What has happened? Now, because Tulsidas Ji's, mind is so much tuned to God, so much tuned to Sri Ramachandra, therefore, it comes like this, okay? Valmiki Ji is a historian, he is writing like a history. He also has love, but he keeps that love aside because he has to write history. And the moment it appears, then you see that, oh, Sri Rama must have done it in such a convincing manner that people must have gotten confused. Right? That is what Shivji tells. Remember, he is still Jagat Swami. He is still the Lord of the universe. Right? Now, we go forward. Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmanji, they come near Pampa Sarovar. Now, again Tulsidas Ji, whenever there is Nisarga Varnana, etc. is there, he likes. So he starts to describe the beauty of this Pampa Sarovara using many similes. See, this description of nature is also taken as a method to teach something. So similes will be used such that they tell some point. So for example, he tells that in this Pampa Sarovara, many vanaras, many monkeys are coming there to drink water. Like what? Like many beggars go to a person who is very benevolent. One simile. Then he says that the water in that Pampa Sarovara is covered by the trees. The trees have grown so much that they are actually covering the water. Like what? Like Brahman is covered by Maya. He says there are portions where those trees are not there, and in that open space, fish, all the fishes, they are enjoying so much. Like what? Like noble men revel in following dharma. Says birds are chirping melodiously all around as though inviting the travelers to this lake. Please come here, please come here, please come here. And finally he says that trees are bending because of the weight of the fruits. Like what? Like the wise men bend due to humility. See, now in a way, the moment this description is there, you start to imagine that there must be a lake, and then trees must be there, and trees must have reached the water, and then there is some open area where fish are there and birds are chirping. You see that also, but through that he has also given some kind of indication of how to live. So like this, he describes Pampa Sarovara. Now, Dekhi Rama ati ruchira talava majjanukinha parama sukha pava. Now, Bhagavan saw this beautiful Talava Pampa Sarovara, beautiful lake. Bhagavan was sitting on the bank of that lake and chatting with Lakshmanji. That time what happened? Dekhi sundara tarobara chaya baithe anuja sahita raghuraya tah puni sakala deva muni aaye. Suddenly there Devarishi Narad came. No, what is the story now? Very interesting. Naradji came there because he felt guilty. What guilt? He thought that, I cursed Vishnu Bhagavan that you will be born as a human being, and because you did not allow me to marry that lady, you will also be separated from your wife. Now Bhagavan is suffering because of my curse. So Naradji came there to check, are you okay? And to say sorry, that time I was in a different mood, therefore I cursed, but now I feel bad that, this is happening. So the moment Naradji came, he did Dandavat Pranam to Sri Ramachandra. And Sri Ramachandra picked him, and Sri Ramachandra washed Naradji's feet. Sri Ramachandra is washing Naradji's feet. Okay. The moment he did this, Naradji understood that he is fine. What I was thinking that he has actually, is sad for wife. No, he is fine. He is still. So the moment he washed his feet, Naradji said, I have one request. Can you give me one boon? Sri Ramachandra said, I am washing your feet. You should give me boon. What are you saying? No, you are Bhagavan only, no. I know. Now because you are in the human form and I am Devarishi Narada, therefore you are doing this, I know. But I want a boon. Sri Ramachandra said, okay, ask, what do you want? What a beautiful boon Naradji is asking. Naradji says, there are thousands of names of yours. Each one very powerful and each one very great. And there is no question of one name is greater than the other, etc. All names are great. But I want this name Ram to be greater than all those names. So the boon that I want to ask you is, make this Ramanama greatest. That just by taking that Ramanama, all the sins should just fly away like the birds are flying away. Make this Ramanama best. Now somebody said very nice. Earlier also, right in the beginning, Balakanda, when that greatness of Ramanama was there, Tulsidas Ji had, expressed so many beautiful points. How Ramanama is greater than the Saguna Brahma also and Nirguna Brahma also. And what that Rama Eka Chhatra and Chudamani. One is the like Chhatra, that Repa is like Chhatra and Anuswara is like the Chudamani. Right? So all those things. Now somebody said very nice. He said, now here you are telling that when you say Rama, 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 etc., all your sins should go away. Say, how will they go away? So when you say Ra, the sins go out. And then you say Ma. You close your mouth so that they don't come back. So Ram, 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 Ram. So you send the sins out and then don't allow them to come back. That is why you should chant Ram Nama. And it is interesting. Bhagavan Shivji himself has explained to Parvati also that this Ramanama is greater than the 1,000 names of Bhagavan. Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varani, he has said, isn't it? And therefore, this name is greatest by Bhagavan's grace. And boon is asked by Narad and Bhagavan says Tatastu. This Ramanama will become greatest. And therefore, even in today's world, if you see, there are so many temples and so much of, all devatas are same only. We have seen earlier the logic behind it. God is one, takes different forms. As many forms, those many names, probably more names of each form also. But you will see this Ramanama has got its own beauty and its own power and it's so famous. When it comes to chanting, it is so famous. You may still find that temples or Shivji's temples are more popular or more people are attracted to that. But when it comes to taking name, Ramanama has got its own power and its own beauty. Not to say that it is greater than Shivji, etc. No. There is no fight. Shivji himself is taking Sri Ramachandra's name. So what is the problem? I remember when we were in Sandipani. In Sandipani, Jagdishwara temple is there. Shivji's temple is there. And what a beautiful murti of Shivji, Most handsome. Shivji, if you want to see, go to Pavai Ashram. Okay? And he is sitting there, such a tall, nice. So when we were learning, when we were studying, we also didn't know much. So one person asked Swamiji that, you are telling us that you should do your Ishtadevata, Japa, etc. And I want to do it in temple, but my Ishtadevata is Rama and temple is Shivji's. So shall I do or no? Shall I sit outside Shiva temple and do? Hey, see, these are genuine questions people have. So Swamiji gave one very nice answer. He said, you do inside. Why? He is also doing the same. Shivji is sitting and doing Ramanama only. You also do. No problem. But that is so true. You can do Shivji's Japa in Rama temple also and Ramji's Japa in Shiva temple also. There is no problem. Why? They are taking each other's name only. So that is how it is. And therefore, Ramanama has become so popular. Powerful. Now, Sri Ramachandra Ji granted that boon to Narad Ji. Now Narad Ji said, I have one question. What question now? Question is, why did you not allow me to marry that girl? But don't think that I still wanted to marry or I have that desire, etc. No. But I want to know the reason. Why did you not allow me? I was so attracted to that girl, but you did not allow me to marry. Bhagavan gives answer very beautifully. He says, Sunu muni tohi kahau saharosa, bhajahi je mohi taji sakala bharosa, karau sada tinake rakhwari, jimi balak rakhai mahatari. Bhagavan says, Sunu muni. O Munindra, O Devarishi Narad, listen. Tohi kahau saharosa. I am telling happily to you, not that I am angry or anything. Bhajai je mohitaji sakala bharosa. Those people who worship me by giving up all other support. Karau sada tinake rakvari. I always protect all of them. Jimi balak. Just as a child, rakhai mahatari is protected by mother. I will protect those people. You see in your own life, you thought you won over Kama. When that Kamadeva came and you were meditating, you were doing tapas, you thought you won over Krodha because you did not even get angry. But that mother came. That mother then resulted into Kamana for that girl. If I would have allowed you to do that, you would have suffered throughout. Why? Because your nature is not like that. See, you can't stay in one place for more time. You keep roaming from here and there. You have only one mission, and that is to convert everybody into devotee. Isn't it? Now, you getting married would have been problem for you. And therefore, I did not allow you to get married. He says there are two kinds of bhaktas. Those kind of bhaktas who are totally dependent on me. And there are bhaktas who are jnanis. They take care of themselves. He says the first kind of bhaktas are like those small kids who need mother. Whereas jnanis are like grown-up kids. They can take care of themselves. Then Bhagavan says, if there is a jnani who gives up all other support and puts his entire ashraya on me, then I will take care of that person also, though grown up, but I will take care. And therefore, I protected you by not allowing you to get married. Now, there are many people who take this word by word. I did not get married. Why? Because Sri Ramachandra said that to protect. Mind you, the same Sri Ramachandra went to Shivji and said, you should get married to Parvati. Remember? Shivji did not even have that thought. So the question is not whether to get married or not. That's not the question. Bhagavan is deciding based on who is most suited for what, so that they will not have problem. He says, Naradji, you are suited for this kind of thing. Whereas Shivji was supposed to be married. So if you see the Charitra also, you will see the difference. I already told you, Naradji keeps roaming here and there, and his thinking is very different. If there is a demon, he will make that demon, having more enmity towards God, so that he will reach God faster. That's kind of mentality that Naradji has. Now, such a person cannot have wife. Whereas Shivji, poor thing, he is alone sitting in one place. Somebody is required to take care of him and to take care of his house. That is why Parvati ji. I tell you, that's why she is called Annapurna also. Why? Number one is she has two amazing sons. One is Ganesh ji and another is Kartikeya and another is... He will not know anything. Shivji will go in meditation and then will remain in meditation for a long time. So according to what is the nature and what finally God wants that person to do, according to that, he will give that upadesha and he will make sure that things happen. It is not that Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra is against marriage or etc. Okay? Don't take the wrong message out of it. The point he is telling is that you were not naturally suited for marriage. And therefore, getting married would have been a problem for you. Therefore, I did not allow. Okay? That is the point. I saved you from Maya. Okay? That is what he says. Naradji said, Arey, what now? You asked for a boon, I gave you boon. You asked a question, I gave you answer also. Now what? He says, I have one request. What request you have now? He says, please tell, what are the Santa Lakshanas? What are the characteristics, virtues of noble people? So in very short, Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra explains in 46th Doha, what are the Lakshanas of Santa? Most of these we have seen. See, earlier Sri Ramachandra went to Valmiki ji's ashram, and you remember Valmiki ji showed him 14 places, 14 ways of sadhana. Those were Santa Lakshanas only. Isn't it? that how the noble people's mind is. And he explained that. Jinake Shravana Samudra Samana, etc., etc. And then he said, Bhagavan, go and stay in their heart. Even in Navadha Bhakti, what we have seen are the virtues of saints only. When he says Yatha Labha Santosha and Acharana, which is so pure, isn't it? And Samatva Drishti, these are all Santa Lakshanas. But now, because Naradji has requested, he gives them again. And these are the points that we have seen earlier. He says, you see, one main virtue that these saints have got is that they have won over 6 enemies, Shadripus, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, etc. Shadvikarajita Anagha Akama, Achala Akinchana, Suchi Sukhadama, Amita Bodha, Anihamita Bhogi, Satya Sara Kabi, Kobida Jogi. And then he keeps on explaining different things. That they are the treasure of all the virtues. They have given up all kinds of dukkha of samsara. They have given up all kinds of confusion. And apart from love for Bhagavan's feet, they have no deha sakti, no geha sakti. Beautiful. Deha sakti means attachment to the body. Geha sakti means attachment to the house. Geha means house. They are only attached to Bhagavan's feet and they are not attached to anything else. And one very interesting thing he says is, when somebody starts to praise them and sing their glories, they feel very embarrassed. But when somebody else's glories and greatness is sung, they become very happy. That is how saints are. They have got vairagya from the entire world and they have got love for Bhagavan and Bhagavan alone. That is how these saints are. With this, we come to the end of Aranyakanda, and Tulsidas Ji concludes again by giving Phalashruthi. And he says that those who sing and those even who listen to Bhagavan's glories, no, they will gain firm Rama Bhakti. That is what they are going to get. Gavahi sunahi sada mamalila, hetu rahita parahita ratasila, muni sunu sadhuna ke guna jete, kahina sakahi sarada shruti tete. I can't tell you all the glories of Santa saints, but I will tell you, those who sing my glories and those who listen to my glories, they will get that rati, that Bhagavan's love, and that is what is the best thing. Saying this, Bhagavan stops, and Tulsidas Ji also says, iti Srimad Ramacharitamanas Sakala Kali Kalusha Vidvamsine Tritiya Sopana Samapta. Here ends the third step in that Manasarovara, which is of Ramacharitra, third step called Aranyakanda. Now you see, we started the Aranyakanda with Mangalacharana shlokas, where Tulsidas Ji explained how this Aranyakanda is going to be. And therefore, we see the Mangalacharana shlokas also indicating that. Like in Ayodhya Kanda, he has asked for that equanimity. In Aranyakanda, he asked for that clarity, that I should not get deluded. Okay, that's what he had asked. And that delusion started right from the beginning. First, that Jayanta, Indra's son, got deluded. And he came and troubled. We saw that Jayanta Moha Prasanga. Then we saw that Bhagavan decided to go into the deeper forest and leave the place of Chitrakuta where he was staying. So he went and met Atri and Anusuya. Atri ji did beautiful stuti of Sri Ramachandra, and Anusuya ji gave very nice upadesha to Sita ji of Stri Dharma. She also gave those Divya Vastras, Divya Abhushanas to Sita ji also. Then Sri Ramachandra, Lakshman ji and Sita ji, 3 of them are going forward. They met Sharabhanga Rishi first. Then Sutikshna, Agastya Muni Shishya also they met. Right? We saw that Sutikshna took them to Agastya Muni himself also. Then they went further. Agastya Muni told them to stay in Panchavati. So they went to Panchavati. They started staying there. And that is where Lakshman ji asked some questions to Sri Ramachandra. Remember? What is Jnana? That is called as Sri Rama Gita. What is Jnana? What is Vairagya? What is Maya? And what is Bhakti? And what is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva? These questions he asked and Bhagavan gave answered also. Then after that Rama Gita, then the scene changed. Shurpanakha entered into the scene. We saw her mischief and the punishment that she got. She told her Vyatha to her cousins, Khara and Dushana, along with Rishiras and 14,000 demons. They attacked. How Bhagavan single-handedly killed all of them. And Shurpanakha went and cried to her brother Ravana. Ravana devised a plan. Here we saw Sri Ramachandra also telling Sita Ji, and therefore Sita Ji entered into fire and Chaya Sita came out. And we saw Ravana went to Maricha, convinced him. Maricha came as Kanchanamruga, took Sri Rama and Lakshmana into the forest, and Ravana came as a sannyasi, reached Sita Ji, and then taking his own form, he kidnapped Sita Ji. We saw he took, while taking Jatayu, came in between. Jatayu fought with Ravana very valorously, but could not, save Sita Ji, could not save his own life also. And Ravana cut both his wings. He fell on the ground. We saw that Sri Rama and Lakshmana also came, met Jatayu. Jatayu told the whole thing to Sri Ramachandra, and looking at Sri Rama, he gave up his life. Got Sarupya Mukti. Bhagavan himself did the Antya Samskara for Jatayu also. Then they went further. Shabari Mukti and Shabari Prasanga we see, right? Navadha Bhakti Upadesha also we saw. And then as they reach Pampa Sarovara, they are sitting and Naradji comes there. And Naradji some questions, Santa Lakshana, etc. we see, and with this Aranyakanda concludes. See, the beauty of this Aranyakanda is many folds. One is, in Balakanda, we saw Bhagavan's Bala Leela or Kishora Leela. In Ayodhya Kanda, we saw his Yuva Leela. He was a Yuva Avastha person, no? And therefore, through the story of Sri Rama and Bharata, both, we understand how a young person should be. Ideal. Now, here in Aranyakanda, he is showing Ishvara Leela to us. That is the speciality of Aranyakanda. And so, what Ishvara should do? Ishvara, when he takes avatara, there are certain purpose. That he has to protect the saints, he has to punish the wicked, and he does all that. See, Santa Rakshana is done, he meets Atri, Sharabanga Rishi, Sutikshna, Agastya, all these people. Shabari also. Then Dushta Shikshana also he has done. Dushta Damana also he has done. He has killed Khara, Dushana, Trishiras. Shurpanaka also he has taught a lesson. Jayanta also, Viradha, Kabandha. So many stories are there. And one very important aspect of Ishvara's avatara is to teach. That also he has done. He has given Upadesha on Jnana, Bhakti, Vairagya, all. Sri Ramagita, Navadha Bhakti, and the last episode with Lakshmanji, where Vairagya Upadesha also is there. So like this we see that Aranyakanda is filled with Ishvara Leela. I remember one interesting thing that Guruji always used to say, that Balakanda and Ayodhya Kanda, according to the number of chaupais and dohas, are huge, both of them. More than 300 dohas in each one. But he used to say, you see there is a very systematic way that chaupais and dohas are arranged. That generally, chaupai, one line will have four padas, right? And 4 chaupais are there, and then doha. Then 4 chaupais and doha. Then 4 chaupais and doha. That is how most of the Balakanda and Ayodhya Kanda is. But in Aranyakanda, when you enter, it is not like that. There are some 10, 12, 13 chaupais, and then suddenly one doha comes. So he used to say, why? He says, because now they are going into Aranya. And the forest path is not as straight as in Ayodhya. And therefore, up and down, sometimes very dense, sometimes very, very empty. I remember one person had come and to meet Guruji, and I happened to speak to that person. That person has done research on this concept of Ramacharitmanas. And he says that Tulsidas Ji has arranged number of chaupais and then the doha. He says number of chaupais along according to how much dense forest was there as they were traveling. How much they must have thought. So he says when the forest is true, and he has given actual geographical thing and how while going from Chitrakuta to first Panchavati, then from Panchavati to Pampa. So he has given actually where all places the Doha, the number of chopais are increasing and the number of chopais are becoming less. Don't ask me whether Tulsidas Ji thought of all this or not. Okay. One thing I can tell is Tulsidas Ji with his mind must have travelled to all these places while writing. And therefore it's not a surprise that it happened like that. But there are people who have done this kind of research also, and therefore we see that because of that forest route, the chopais are inconsistent. Okay, there is a reason for everything in our Shastra, right? Somebody also said that Aranyakanda is yatra of a sadhaka. Yatra from where to where? It says yatra from moha to santa. We start with Jayanta Moha Prasanga and we conclude with Santa Lakshana. And in this yatra, the Triveni Sangam is there, they said. Upadesha Sangama is also there. What Upadesha is there? There is Upadesha of Jnana Bhakti Vairagya, which we have seen. They say there is also Upadesha of Dharma, which Anasuya gives to Sita Ji right at the beginning. And therefore, the Sangama of Karma, Jnana and Bhakti is also there. Dharma is Karma, no? And that Karma is what is called as Dharma, and that is Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So these three paths are also meeting in this Aranyakanda. So there is a Triveni Sangama of that. Earlier we had seen that Karma is Yamuna Ji, Jnana is Saraswati Ji, and love is Bhakti is Ganga Ji. And that Triveni Sangam is then Prayagraj, which Tulsidas Ji had said. So he says here also that Triveni Sangama happens, and that is how this Aranyakanda is there. Now we enter into Kishkinda Kanda, the fourth Sopana, Chaturtha Sopana, fourth Kanda, shortest in terms of number of dohas. Okay, very nice. But we will just chant the Mangalacharana Shloka. Why Kishkinda Kanda name? Because the story is going to go to Kishkinda now. So Ayodhya, then Aranya, now we are going to Kishkinda. That is why Kishkinda Kanda. Let us see. Kundendi vara sundaravati balau.
Kundendi vara sundaravati balau.
Vijnana dhama vubhau.
Vijnana dhama vubhau.
Shobhadhyau varadhanvinau shrutinutau.
Shobhadhyau varadhanvinau shrutinutau.
Go vipravrinda priyau.
Go vipravrinda priyau.
Maya manusha rupinau raghuvarau.
Maya manusha rupinau raghuvarau.
Saddharma varmau hitau.
Saddharma varmau hitau.
Sitanveshana tatparau pathigatau.
Sitanveshana tatparau pathigatau.
Bhakti pradau tauhinaha.
Bhakti pradau tauhinaha.
Together. Kundendi vara sundaravati balau. Vijnana dhama vubhau. Shobhadhyau varadhanvinau shrutinutau. Go vipravrinda priyau. Maya manusha rupinau raghuvarau. Saddharma varmau hitau. Sitanveshana tatparau pathigatau. Bhakti pradau tauhinaha. You see au coming? Dvivachana. Why Dvivachana? No, not Dvandva Samas. Dvivachana is because now only two are there. Sita Ji is gone, no? Aparana has happened. So now only two. So Rama Lakshmanau. Rather Lakshmana Ramo, as he explains. We'll see. That's why that Dvivachana. Tau Raghuvarau. We'll see. Kishkinda Kanda will start. Veera Maruti Gambhira Maruti.
Veera Maruti Gambhira Maruti.
Veera Maruti Ati Dhira Maruti.
धीर मारुति अति धीर मारुति
गीत मारुति संगीत मारुति
गीत मारुति संगीत मारुति
दूत मारुति राम दूत मारुति
दूत मारुति राम दूत मारुति
भक्त मारुति परम भक्त मारुति
भक्त मारुति परम भक्त मारुति
वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति
वीर मारुति गंभीर मारुति
गंभीर मारुति
गंभीर मारुति
गंभीर मारुति
गंभीर मारुति।
सियावर रामचंद्र की
जय।
पवन सुत हनुमान की
जय।
उमापति महादेव की
जय।
बोलो भाई सब संतन की
जय।
सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की
जय।
ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।